thought that was beautiful.
Yep.
Marissa Tomei, from the second she is on, like, she is a
Academy Award winner, Marissa Tomei. Let's not forget. For a
who
reason.
in this movie doesn't have an Academy Award?
Michael Keaton.
No.
I know. I don't believe it either, but I think he's the only person in this movie that doesn't have an Academy Award, and he is
That
pulling
doesn't
the whole
even
thing
make
together.
sense.
It's weird, right? Yeah.
That is really weird.
Actually, no. I take that back. He got one for Birdman, didn't he? Or was he only nominated? I can't remember if Birdman won.
I don't pay attention to those. I know I should,
Mm.
but I don't pay attention.
Okay. But in this case, Marissa Tomei has already won her My Cousin Vinny.
Yep.
So when she's doing this movie, she is the one who has held the Oscar before anybody else there, except Robert Duvall, of course.
I will say her the pregnant belly that they had her wearing looked incredibly convincing.
Yeah.
I also
Her whole waddle walk while she's
Mhm.
going around, like, holy shit, you really believe that she is like ready to pop at any second.
100%. Um, Absolutely, completely. Uh, Keaton is absolutely delightful from the very second that he starts talking. Like, she's fed up, she's sick, like, but she's not actually fed up. She is pregnant and moody, but she 100% knows his life, knows what he does. She is a part of it. She is the female version of what he does. Like,
Right.
there's a point later in the movie, it's like, you do this. I watched you 8.5 months pregnant waddle off to go chase a story.
Right.
Like this, like, you totally understand. Like, and
That's kind of what
that.
and that's what I love about this is that you even see it like later on, like her being a reporter is clearly why they're in love. Like
Mhm.
the one moment where he's not adversarial with her is when she's given him like, here's the scoop I found. And he's literally like, oh, I fucking love you.
I love
Like
you. You drive me crazy when you're like this. Like, what are you
yeah,
wearing? Like, yeah.
right, exactly, yeah. And really, and it also at the same time, the entire dynamic of their conflict has to do with the fact that she's stuck at home on maternity leave, not at the paper with him, and it's driving her nuts.
But it's set up immediately. You know that from the
Mhm.
very get go because she starts going like, tell everybody I miss them and
Mhm.
say hi to everybody. Uh, it did not take me long to try to start figuring out whether or not Coca-Cola sponsored this movie.
It doesn't matter. It
Keaton's
doesn't.
Keaton's pure addiction to coke, or, not cocaine, to Coca-Cola and all of that. in this-
Symbolism is what it is.
Ooh, I missed it, but you're right.
Yeah.
Like, he's constantly going after coke. Like,
Yes. I was
completely
gonna
missed
say,
that.
like, that's the thing is, that's one of the things I want to talk about is how, like, most movies, you have an A story and a B story. This movie has an A story, a B story, a C story, a D story, an E story, an F story,
Yep.
and the G story is Henry versus Coca-Cola. Because it is a running theme there. Not just him needing Coke, him needing to get change for Coke from his coworkers, him trying to find a Coke machine in the building that still has Coke in it. Like, there is an epic tale going on just in that one little thing. That's the G story of this movie.
I forgot to mention this earlier, but one of the other major things that David Cope produced and wrote,
Mhm.
24.
Oh,
An entire
sure,
an
of course.
entire series based around what happens in the sequence of one day, which is essentially this movie.
Right. This movie and that's the theme of it. They even do the whole, like, the radio news. They, like, in both the beginning and the end,
That's
they're
the thing.
listening
That's
to
what I
the
was
to the
talking
radio.
about. Where
Yeah.
the additional scene of the boys is not part of this. Is not part of the story. It's part of this movie, but it's not part of the actual story. The story starts and ends at 7 a.m. and 7 a.m.
Yep, exactly. With the news radio people basically saying, because your whole world can change in just 24 hours, and that is the theme of the movie.
I
And,
did like that Michael Keaton like set it up. He's like, you ever just like taste that a shit day is coming or something like that?
Yes,
Like,
I loved that.
I enjoyed that.
And my absolute favorite part is how in the course of this 24 hours, everyone's life gets completely upended except for McDougal. McDougal, it's just another Tuesday for him.
I'm gonna get there.
All right, yeah.
So I loved the setting up Sandusky right away at the beginning. The hope in Marissa Tomei's eyes is
Sandusky
unbelievably
is
believable.
Chekhov's gun in this one.
Yes, yes. Uh, just Marissa Tomei and everything that she does. She's talking about the interview, everything like that. She is giving hope, but like you can see it directly in her eyes. She's like, "I'm hoping. I know what's going to happen."
Right.
You see, like she knows. Oh, the performance she brings, and also like about the eyes. Like I didn't write that, but hopefully I remember that later because I want to talk about that with Glenn Close.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, Henry going through and he's like, yeah, Trump jumped off the top of a building and landed on Madonna. I just kind of sat back. I just kind of sat back with that moment and went, what if?
Oh, come on. You know, Madonna deserves a better out than that. All right. Like I'm
She does. Maybe if he just landed next to her.
right. Yeah.
I'm so
Traumatized her. She screamed. Her vocal cords go out. She can never see again. Tragedy, but a better ending.
But by that point, we'd already gotten all the best of Madonna.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Did we ever did Madonna ever release anything good after 1994?
Yes, actually. I vaguely recall, and I only know this because I happened to work at a record store at this time, so I was like there when the hype. But the album that she came out with in, I want to say 97 or 98, I can't remember what it's called, was decent. It was decent.
I have
It
no
wasn't
recollection. I don't know
Madonna, but it was pretty good.
because at that point we like moved to No Doubt and Alanis Morissette and
Yeah.
like
Oh, those are all well in. Yeah.
yeah, like we were in a different era of music by that point.
Yeah.
That's why because that's definitely why I never listened to her. I was listening to Blink-182 and Green Day.
It was a
And
kind of
Metallica.
it was kind of a rebranding, but that was kind of the thing. Madonna rebranded herself every few years, so you know it wasn't a shock to have another rebranding from her. And I remember at the time even being kind of impressed that when she does rebrand herself, it never is terrible.
Oh.
So you know, and that I felt that way back then. So you know, I'm not nearly as clued in on music as I am movies, so I'm very uncomfortable with this route.
That's fair.
Because
That's fair. We can
like,
we can course correct.
if someone disagrees with me on movies, I can go blow for blow. If someone wants to come at me on music, I'm like, I give.